You started at what, 2006?
Six, yeah, 2006.
Right, you were, yeah, you were like the first. Is that pretty much the first generation of Romanian stand-up comedy? Like there was comedy of other types
I
in
would
Romania,
say, yeah, well, with the comedy marketed as a stand-up comedy, I would say maybe I'm the second. So they
right?
kind of the Cafe Deco opened in 2003.
Right.
I
Okay.
think it opened like mid 2003, and I started up in like late 2006.
Okay. What was that scene like? Because that was like a completely whole new thing in Romania.
So when I started, they used to do like Friday, Saturday at Cafe Deco. And
Mm-hmm.
then they used to do like another show, I think just on Saturdays, like Prometheus. So I guess the turnover of comedy was like they would still sell like five for like 400 or 500 tickets a week.
Four or five
And
hundred. Okay. I mean, that's a pretty good start.
basically all three shows. Oh, it didn't, apparently they started with like 30, 40 in like 2003, but when I showed up in 2006, they had like three professional shows basically,
Oh,
and
that's
uh, and then I think I was just basically the first gen. I'm pretty sure I was the first generation of like open micers. So like
okay.
the then two the I think I was at the first open mic that they organized and announced as an open mic.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Obviously,
That's pretty cool.
obviously the first show they did in 2003 that was still like an open mic,
Yeah, of
but
course.
they just didn't call it that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. And I mean, I gotta ask because then obviously, so just to give you an idea, I think my first time I saw stand-up comedy in Romania live,
Okay.
I was in high school. It was 2011, 12. It was
Okay.
Spitalul Noua.
Okay. Where did you where
Târgu
did you
Mureș.
see Târgu Mureș? Okay. So
Yeah,
from what
yeah.
I know, Spitalul No didn't really do stand-up comedy. Like apparently they started in like 2000 and like before 2003, and they wanted to kind of play at Cafe Deco, but they wanted to do it as like a group rather than like individual
Yeah,
people.
so it was like by the time we saw them, they were doing like 10-minute sets, sketches,
Okay.
some musical stuff. It was a bit like what you'd see in the telly originally, which was like sketch comedy mixed in with other stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
So
is like
from what I know, that basically they sort of they had the same manager as like the Vacanza Mare people. So that's
potentially, yeah, I wasn't really in the know of back then. I didn't know the details, but yeah.
they were kind of similar because the manager was kind of like basically when the Vacanza Mare people went on TV, the manager still had I still have these rooms rented out and like this whole mechanism of putting on shows. I just need uh, three people to put on the shows.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's there's the tidbits of promoting comedy in Romania. Uh,
Uh, yeah, but that's also just from what I've heard from other people. I don't really know either.
Fair enough. So how did you end up deciding to do stand-up comedy and then becoming a professional? Because that's not something that's in our culture. It's not something very common to be like, yeah, go be a comedian. It's like,
Well, I always wanted to do comedy. Like even before I kind of knew that stand-up comedy was like a thing, I always liked it. I always liked comedies. I never, like as a kid, I really used to laugh and stuff. Never really like drama or anything serious or like dancing or music or anything like that. Comedy just made sense to me.
fair.
So yeah. So and by the time I was kind of like in high school, I already before high school actually we had the Seinfeld on TV.
Yeah,
And if you watch that TV show, you kind of get an idea that stand up is like a job. Like
yeah,
it was,
yeah, yeah. Because he's got the cold opens.
yeah, and also it was his all like his character that was his job. So I knew that existed in the world. I didn't really necessarily have my dad encourage me to do it.
Fair. I mean, that's fair enough. Yeah, I come from a religious background, so for me, it was like not even on the rate. Well, it was on the radar in the sense that like I knew of comedy, and then I ended up during high school just binging everything George Carlin on YouTube. So,
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, we didn't have YouTube. So I saw Seinfeld, and then I saw Blue Collar Comedy Tour. If you know, like
Oh,
the
hang on.
Foxworthy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
those
yeah,
are
yeah.
those are like the first
Larry the
ever. And
Cable Guy, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, Larry the Cable Guy, Ron White, and I forgot
Yeah,
the other
bro. Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
But and then we had like all the Comedy Central presents. If you know they did like a series. Papa Francisco was kind of big. Jim Gaffigan, I remember Greg Giraldo.
So
Um,
I know Comedy Central of basically YouTube because again, so my parents were religious. I didn't have a TV growing up. I had a computer, so I basically
okay.
just kind of hunted down everything on the internet, which technically was better
Oh,
for me.
oh no, Comedy Central present that was also like pirated CDs. We didn't get it in Romania either. It was just like just pirated CDs. And then Seinfeld, I saw him first like on TV. They showed it on like Pro TV, but then I still got the pirated CDs, and that's how I kind of binged it over and over again.
The classic of like the Sharpie written on the CD stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Those.
And
I think they're still. My mom is still sort of probably depositing them somewhere.
then you open up the cupboard and there's an entire array, just row after row. Oh, the life. Well, in that case, I am curious because I'm very like fascinated by the Romanian stand-up scene. Like, what was it like being on the road? Like the early days. What was that?
Oh, it was pretty good. I think I was one of I had like a little outburst of being on the road. So if then so I was I basically I think I was more like a Bucharest comedian. I mostly kind of activated in Bucharest, but I
Oh,
had
okay.
like little periods when I would go like on the road and do like a little 5 day tour. But I think by the I yeah I don't really have that many like weird experiences. I do have weird experiences in the sense that it's still like a pub show in a place that they didn't really do comedy. And then again, I didn't really do comedy either. I didn't really have any expectations. I just had like 20 minutes of jokes, and I would just go and say them at the microphone.
Fair
Generally,
enough.
yeah, generally turned out good. Sometimes it was kind of shitty. We were kind of we have like a bar at most shows, which was like fantastic and probably bad for me in the long run. But yeah, it was fun. I would say just fun. Just like I was just a 20-year-old kid having fun around Romania.
Oh, and so
Like
basically you had free booze pretty much any gig or most gigs.
yeah, yeah, most gigs free booze, and we just kind of go and either like some. I think in the beginning after the show, there used to also be like a kind of like a party, so you just kind of stay and feel important there at the party.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Oh, wow.
Uh, so yeah, it was fun. I would say just fun. I it does get old quite quickly because we don't really have that many roads in Romania. So like
Hmm.
once you've done them like 4 times, you feel like okay. Uh, I like the Valea Oltului. There are a couple of the one. The EU de Sucinci. There's a couple of big roads.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you got the national roads. Someday we might get an actual motorway. We're, work in progress.
Yeah, I feel like I'm over motorways. I'm more of a train person now.
Oh, hang on. Romanian trains are a bit different, though.
Oh yeah, well that's how they need to become better if people use them. I feel like motorways they're kind of like the 1970s, right? It's
Yeah.
not like it's the future aren't motorways. I feel
Well,
like
no.
we're still working towards getting better in the past.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny. By the time we figure out motorways, it's gonna be basically just not green and against the climate. So we're gonna have to like just pivot straight into a whole new technology.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Uh,
We're still gonna be behind, even if tomorrow all the motorways are built, we're still behind.
yeah, pretty much. That's why you gotta love Romania. It's unique in its own way.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
I liked it as a country. I do like food wise way better than here. I would say that being on the road there as opposed to here, the hotels are nicer there and the food like 20 times better.
I mean,
Like
I can't argue. I do miss the food. If there's one thing I could bring over is the food.
just
Probably.
like a shitty sandwich place at like midnight near the train station, way better than any restaurant. I've been to in the UK.
Fair enough.